The first time they turned me away, I thought it was a misunderstanding. I'd driven 3 hours to Pinewood Recovery Center, a place that looked more like a corporate retreat than a medical facility. All glass and clean lines, nestled in the Virginia hills where the air smelled like pine and money. The kind of place where they charged you extra just to breathe their recycled air. My daughter Emma had been there for 6 weeks. Knee surgery that went bad, infection, complications. Then rehab. I'd visited twice before. Both times, she'd been tired but present. We'd talked about her job, about the garden she wanted to plant when she got home, about nothing and everything. Then the calls stopped. I tried her cell, straight to voicemail. I tried the main desk. They said she was resting. I tried her husband, Derek. He texted back, "She needs space right now, doctor's orders." So I drove out there myself. The lobby was all white marble and potted ferns. A woman behind the desk wore a smile like plastic wrap. Tight, transparent, barely there. "I'm here to see Emma Hartley," I said. "Room 304. She clicked at her computer. The smile never moved. "I'm sorry, sir. Ms. Hartley has requested no visitors at this time." "She's my daughter." "I understand, but she's made her wishes very clear." "When did she make this request?" "I'm not at liberty to discuss patient details. I was here 2 weeks ago. She was fine. We talked for an hour." "Things change, Mr. Hartley. Recovery is a difficult process. Sometimes patients need to focus inward." I leaned against the desk. The marble was cold under my palms. "Let me talk to her doctor." "Dr. Brennan is with patients right now." "Then I'll wait." "Sir, I really think it would be best if you—" "I'll wait." She looked past me, and I felt someone move behind me. When I turned, there was a security guard. Older guy, maybe 60, with a gut that hung over his belt, and eyes that had seen too much over time. "Sir," he said, not unkindly, "you need to leave the premises." "I'm her father." "I know, but you heard the lady. No visitors means no visitors." I wanted to argue. I wanted to demand and rage and make them understand that this was my daughter, my only child, and something was wrong. But I'm not that guy. Never have been. I'm the guy who nods and walks away and figures it out later. So I nodded. I walked toward the exit. The guard followed me, probably to make sure I actually left. We walked through the lobby, through the automatic doors, into the parking lot where the afternoon sun hit like a slap. That's when he said it. Quiet. Almost under his breath. "This isn't how it's supposed to work." I stopped. Turned around. He was looking back at the building, not at me. "What did you say?" He blinked. Realized he'd spoken out loud. "Nothing. Sorry." "You said it's not supposed to work like this." "I didn't mean—" "What's not supposed to work like this?" He looked at me then. Really looked, and I saw something there. Not pity, not quite guilt, but close. "I've worked here 8 years, he said. "Never seen them block a parent without paperwork. Usually there's an order, a legal thing, abuse cases, custody stuff. But for her?" He shook his head. "They just added you to the exclusion list yesterday. No documentation, just a phone call." "From who?" "I shouldn't be telling you any of this." "From who?" He glanced back at the building. "Her husband. He called the director directly. Said she was too fragile, that seeing you would set back her recovery. Director agreed without even checking with the patient." My chest went tight. "Derek called." "That's what I heard. Look, I gotta get back inside, but—" He hesitated. "If it were my kid, I'd want to know." He walked away before I could respond. Left me standing there in the parking lot, trying to make sense of it. Derek had blocked me from seeing Emma. Not Emma. Derek. I got in my car. Sat there with the engine off. The sun was setting, turning the glass building into something that looked like it was on fire. My phone buzzed. A text from Derek. "Heard you showed up at Pinewood. Please respect Emma's wishes. She'll reach out when she's ready." I stared at those words. Reached out when she's ready. Like I was some toxic ex, some abuser she needed to heal from. I'd known Derek for 5 years. He'd married Emma 3 months after they met, which should have been the first red flag. But Emma was 32, an adult, and she'd said she was happy. He worked in finance, made good money, said all the right things at family dinners. Bland, forgettable. The kind of guy who laughed too loud at his own jokes. I'd never liked him, but I'd kept my mouth shut, because that's what you do. Now I was wondering if I should have said something. I drove home. 3 hours back, through the hills and into the suburbs where I'd lived for 20 years, same house, same quiet street, same life I'd been living since my wife died 4 years ago. Except now it felt different, like I'd walked through a door I couldn't close. I spent the next 3 days trying to reach Emma. I called the center every morning. They gave me the same answer. I texted her phone, nothing. I tried emailing. The messages bounced back with an automated response. This account is temporarily unavailable. On the fourth day, I called Derek. He picked up on the third ring. Hey, Richard, what's up? Like we were old friends, like he hadn't just cut me off from my daughter. I want to talk to Emma. I know, man, I know, but she's really not in a good place right now. Then let me help. You are helping, by giving her space. The doctor said family stress is the worst thing for her recovery. I'm her father. I'm not stress. I know you don't see it that way, but Emma's been saying some things about how she felt growing up, about pressure she felt to be perfect. She's working through a lot of old stuff. I felt something cold slide down my spine. What are you talking about? Look, I'm not trying to start a fight. I'm just telling you what she told me. She needs time, that's all. Put her on the phone. She doesn't want to talk to you right now. Then let me hear that from her. Richard, come on. Don't make this harder than it has to be. I drove 3 hours to see her. They threw me out. You blocked me without telling me. And now you're saying she doesn't want to talk to me? I want to hear it from her. His voice changed, got colder. You're not entitled to her time just because you're her father. She's an adult. She makes her own choices. Then let her make them. She already did. Respect it. He hung up. Something was very wrong. I spent the next week digging, not like a detective, more like a guy who couldn't let it go. I called Emma's friends. Most of them hadn't heard from her in months. One of them, Jessica, said Emma had been distant since the wedding. She kept canceling plans, Jessica said. At first I thought it was just newlywed stuff, but then she stopped responding altogether. Did she say anything about Derek? Only that he was protective, that he worried about her a lot. Jessica paused. I thought it was sweet at the time. I called Emma's work. She'd taken medical leave 2 months ago. They said she was expected back after her recovery, but they hadn't heard from her either. I drove past Derek and Emma's house. It was in a gated community, one of those places where every house looked the same and the lawns were chemical green. I couldn't get past the gate without a code, so I parked on the street and waited. After 2 hours, Derek's car pulled out. He was alone. I followed him. He drove to a gym, spent an hour inside. Then he stopped at a coffee shop, ordered something complicated, sat at a table scrolling through his phone. I watched him through the window. He looked normal, relaxed, like a guy who didn't have a care in the world, not like a guy whose wife was too fragile to see her father. I went home, made dinner, couldn't eat it, sat in the living room where Emma used to do her homework, where she'd practiced violin, where we'd watched movies on Friday nights after her mom died because neither of us could stand the silence. That night, I dreamed about her. She was 10 years old, crying because she'd failed a math test. I told her it was okay, that she'd do better next time. She looked up at me and said, "But what if I can't?" I woke up at 3 a.m, sweating. The next day, I drove back to Pinewood. This time, I didn't go to the front desk. I parked in the visitor lot and waited. Watched the staff come and go. Watched the patients who could walk take slow laps around the building. Watched for anyone who looked like they might talk. It took 4 hours. A nurse came out for a smoke break. She was young, maybe late 20s, with tired eyes and scrubs covered in cartoon cats. I walked over. Got a light? She looked at me. You don't smoke. How do you know? Your fingers aren't stained, and you look too healthy. I smiled. Guilty. I'm actually looking for information. About? My daughter, Emma Hartley. She's a patient here. I've been blocked from seeing her. The nurse's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind her eyes. Family drama. Something like that. But I think it's more than that. I think someone's controlling her access, not her. Why would someone do that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. She took a drag from her cigarette, blew smoke toward the sky. I can't talk about patients. I'm not asking for medical details. I just want to know if she's okay. Define okay. Awake, alert, making her own decisions. The nurse looked at me for a long moment. What's your name? Richard. Richard Hartley. I'm Megan. She dropped her cigarette and crushed it under her shoe. I've seen your daughter. She seems fine, physically anyway, but... She hesitated. But what? She had a visitor last week. Her husband. I was checking vitals in the next room. I heard them arguing. About what? I couldn't hear everything, but she was crying. And he kept saying something about protecting her reputation, about keeping things private. What things? I don't know, But when I went in after he left, she wouldn't look at me, just stared at the wall. I asked if she was okay, and she said yes. But it didn't feel like a yes. It felt like a script. My jaw tightened. Did you report it? Report what? A couple arguing. That's not abuse. That's marriage. What if it's more than that? Then I'd need proof. Megan glanced back at the building. Look, I have to get back, but if you really think something's wrong, you need to be smart about it. They won't let you in. Not after you've been flagged, but they can't watch everything. What do you mean? She walked away without answering. I stood there trying to decode what she'd said. They can't watch everything. I spent the rest of the day sitting in my car, watching the building. I saw staff enter through a side door. I saw deliveries come through the back. I saw patients wheeled out to waiting cars. And I saw Derek arrive at 6 p.m. He parked in the family lot, walked inside like he owned the place, stayed for an hour. When he came out, he was on the phone. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I saw his face. He was smiling. I followed him home, watched him pull into his driveway, into his perfect house with its perfect lawn and its perfect gate. Then I went back to Pinewood. This time, I parked in the back lot near the service entrance, waited until dark, watched the staff shift change at 8 p.m. At 9, a delivery truck pulled up. 2 guys got out, started unloading boxes of supplies. The side door was propped open. I got out of my car, walked toward the door like I belonged there. Nobody stopped me. Inside, the hallways were bright and sterile. I could hear TVs from patient rooms, could smell disinfectant and old coffee. I walked like I had a purpose, like I was visiting someone, like I had every right to be there. Emma's room was on the 3rd floor. I took the stairs, found her room. The door was ajar. I pushed it open. She was sitting up in bed, watching TV with the sound off. Her leg was in a brace. Her face was thinner than I remembered, but it was her. Emma. She turned, saw me. And for just a second, I saw relief flood her face. Then it was gone, replaced by something else. Fear, maybe. Or guilt. Dad, she whispered, you shouldn't be here. Why not? Derek said, I don't care what Derek said. I need to know you're okay. I'm fine. You're not fine. You won't return my calls. You had me blocked from visiting, and Derek keeps saying you don't want to see me. I don't. The words hit like a punch. You don't mean that. I do. Her voice was flat. I need space. I need to focus on getting better. Emma, look at me. She did. And I saw it then. The thing I'd been afraid of. She wasn't lying exactly, but she wasn't telling the truth either. She was repeating something she'd been told to say. Who told you to say that? Nobody. Emma, Dad, please, just go. Not until you tell me what's going on. The door behind me opened. Derek stood there. His face was calm, but his eyes were hard. Richard, he said, you need to leave. Now. I'm talking to my daughter. No, you're trespassing. I can have security here in 30 seconds. I looked at Emma. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Derek stepped closer. You have 5 seconds to walk out of here, or I'm calling the cops. Your choice. I wanted to stay. I wanted to demand answers, but I could see Emma shrinking into herself, could see the fear on her face, not of me, but of what would happen if I stayed. So I left. Derek followed me to the stairs. Didn't say a word, just watched me go. When I got outside, my hands were shaking. I sat in my car and tried to breathe. Emma was trapped, not physically, not in a way that would show up on cameras or in medical reports, but trapped all the same, and Derek was the one holding the cage. I drove home, spent the night staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what to do next. Because I'd seen her face when I walked into that room, I'd seen the relief, and then I'd seen it disappear. Someone had taught her to hide it. Someone had taught her to push me away. Someone had convinced her that I was the problem. I didn't know how yet. But I was going to find out. And when I did, Derek was going to wish he'd never met me. While you're here, hit the hype button, don't forget to subscribe and support this channel with a like. And tell us below, have you ever faced something like this? The next morning, I woke up with a plan. Not a good plan, not a smart plan, but a plan. I needed to know what Derek was telling Emma. I needed to know why she was afraid. And I needed evidence that didn't involve breaking into a medical facility. So I started where most bad ideas start, the internet. Derek's social media was aggressively normal. Photos of him and Emma at restaurants, him at the gym, him at work events. Everything public, everything curated. In the photos with Emma, she was always smiling, but it was the kind of smile that didn't reach her eyes. I scrolled back through 6 months of posts, Before the wedding, Emma's own account had been active. After, it went quiet. The last post was from their honeymoon, a sunset, no caption. I tried logging into her account. The password had been changed. I moved on to Derek's friends list, mostly work colleagues. A few guys from his gym, nobody who looked like they'd known him before he moved here. That was interesting. Derek had told us he grew up in Ohio, that he'd moved to Virginia for work, that his parents were retired and traveling. We'd never met them. He said they weren't close. I dug deeper. There was no Derek Hartley from Ohio in any of the public records I could find. No high school yearbook photos, no college registry, nothing. Either he'd been invisible his entire life, or Derek Hartley wasn't his real name. I sat back from the computer, felt that cold thing in my chest spread. If he'd lied about his name, what else had he lied about? I called a guy I knew, Frank. We'd worked together 20 years ago before I moved into management and he moved into private investigation. We'd stayed in touch, mostly around the holidays. "Richard," he said when he picked up, "it's been a minute. I need a favor." "Course you do. Nobody calls me for my sparkling personality." "I need a background check." "On who?" "My son-in-law." Frank was quiet for a second. "What kind of trouble is he in?" "That's what I'm trying to find out." "What's his name?" "Derek Hartley. He's 38, says he's from Ohio, works in finance for Meridian Capital." "Give me a day. I'll see what I can find." "Frank, I need this fast." "You worried about your daughter?" "Yeah." "Then I'll make it a priority." I hung up and paced the house, made coffee, didn't drink it, tried to focus on something else. Couldn't. By noon, Frank called back. "That was fast," I said. "That's because there's nothing to find." Frank's voice was grim. No Derek Hartley matching that description in Ohio, no birth certificate, no driver's license history before 5 years ago. He just appears in Virginia out of nowhere. "What about Meridian Capital?" "He works there. That part's legit. But before that, nothing. No previous employers, no college transcripts, no mortgage history. This guy either has the cleanest past on the planet, or he scrubbed it." "How do you scrub a past?" "Money, lawyers, sometimes witness protection, but that's rare. More often, guy wants to run from something. Debt, criminal record, bad divorce. So he changes his name, moves states, starts fresh." My chest tightened. "Can you find out what he's running from?" "I can try. But it'll take more than a day. And it'll cost you." "I don't care about the cost." "Richard, listen. If this guy's dangerous, you need to involve the cops. And tell them what? That my son-in-law might have a fake name? That I think he's keeping my daughter away from me? They'll laugh me out of the station." "Then be careful. Guys who erase their past don't like people digging it up." Frank promised to keep looking. I thanked him and hung up. I spent the rest of the day trying to act normal. I went to the grocery store. I mowed the lawn. I waved at my neighbor, Tom, who asked how Emma was doing. "She's good," I lied. "Recovering well." "Tell her we're thinking of her," Tom said. "I will." But I wouldn't, because I couldn't talk to her. That night, I drove back to Derek's neighborhood, parked on a side street where I could see his house. The lights were on. I could see shadows moving behind the curtains. He was home, alone. I waited. At 8 p.m., a car pulled up. A woman got out. Blonde. Mid-30s. Dressed like she'd come from an office. She walked to the door. Derek opened it before she could knock. They stood in the doorway talking. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the body language was clear. Familiar. Close. She touched his arm. He smiled. Then she went inside. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel. Maybe she was a friend. Maybe she was a co-worker. Maybe it was nothing. But it didn't feel like nothing. I waited 2 hours. She didn't come out. I drove home, tried to sleep. Couldn't. The next day, I went back to Pinewood. This time, I didn't try to sneak in. I just sat in the parking lot and watched. Derek showed up at noon, stayed for an hour, came out with 2 other people, a man and a woman, both in their 20s. They looked like Emma. Same dark hair, same build. Her kids from a previous relationship. I'd met them twice, at the wedding and once after. They'd been polite, but distant. Emma had mentioned they were struggling with the idea of her remarrying, that they'd been close to their father, who died 6 years ago. Now they were here, with Derek. They stood in the parking lot talking. I couldn't hear them, but I could see their faces. The son looked angry. The daughter looked tired. Derek said something. The son shook his head. Derek said something else. The daughter touched his arm, said something that looked like, "Please." Then they got in their cars and left. I followed the son. His name was Tyler, 26, worked at a tech startup downtown. I knew because Emma had told me he was doing well, that she was proud of him. He drove to an apartment complex on the east side, parked in a spot marked 214, got out and walked inside. I waited 5 minutes. Then I knocked on his door. He opened it, saw me, and his face went blank. "Mr. Hartley." "Tyler, we need to talk." "I don't think that's a good idea." "Your mom won't talk to me. Derek blocked me from seeing her. And you were just at Pinewood. So yeah, we're going to talk." He hesitated, then stepped aside. The apartment was small, messy. Clothes on the couch, dishes in the sink. He didn't offer me a seat. "What do you want?" he asked. "I want to know what's going on with your mom." "She's recovering." "From what? A knee surgery? Or from me?" "I don't know what you mean." "Tyler, don't lie to me. I've known you since you were 20. I know when you're hiding something." His jaw tightened. "She doesn't want to see you right now. That's all I know." "Did she say that? Or did Derek say it for her?" "Derek's trying to protect her." "From what?" "From stress. From people who make her feel bad." "And I make her feel bad?" "I don't know, man." Tyler ran a hand through his hair. "Derek said you were putting pressure on her, that you didn't approve of the marriage, that you wanted her to choose between you and him." I felt something snap. "That's bullshit. I never said any of that." "Well, that's what he told us." "And you believed him?" "Why wouldn't I? He's her husband. He knows her better than we do." "Tyler, your mom and I talked every week before this. We had dinner every month. We were fine. And then she married Derek. And suddenly I'm the enemy. You don't find that weird?" He looked away. "I don't want to get in the middle of this." "You're already in the middle. You were at Pinewood today. What did Derek want?" "He wanted us to know that Mom's doing better, that she's making progress, and that we need to respect her boundaries. Which means staying away from me." "He didn't say that." "He didn't have to." Tyler crossed his arms. "Look, I don't know what you want from me. I'm trying to support my mom. If that means giving her space from people who stress her out, then fine. I'll give her space." "Did you ask her if I stress her out?" "No." "Why not?" "Because Derek said it would upset her." "So you're taking his word for it." "What else am I supposed to do?" I stepped closer. "You're supposed to trust your mom. You're supposed to ask her yourself. You're supposed to question why a guy you've known for 6 months is suddenly controlling who gets to see her." Tyler's face flushed. "Get out." "Tyler, I said get out. I don't have to explain myself to you. You're not my father." "No, but I'm your mom's father, and I'm telling you something's wrong. Then take it up with Derek, not me." I left before I said something I'd regret. Sat in my car and tried to calm down. Tyler was scared. I could see it in his face. He was scared of Derek, or scared of the truth, or scared of losing his mom. Maybe all three. But he wasn't going to help me. I drove to the daughter's place. Emma's daughter, Lily. 24, worked as a teacher, lived in a townhouse near the school. She answered the door with wet hair and a confused expression. "Mr. Hartley?" "Lily, I need to talk to you." "About?" "Your mom." She glanced behind her. "I don't think—" "Please, 5 minutes." She sighed. "Let me in." Her place was the opposite of Tyler's. Clean, organized, a cat curled on the couch. She sat down and gestured for me to do the same. "I'm guessing Tyler called you," I said. "He texted, said you were asking questions." "I am, because nobody else will." "What do you want to know?" "I want to know if you think Derek's controlling your mom." Lily looked at me for a long moment. "I think Derek cares about her." "That's not what I asked." "I know." She picked at a thread on her sleeve. "I don't know what to think. He's been good to her. He pays for everything. He takes care of her. He makes sure she's comfortable. But she's different now, quieter. She used to call me twice a week. Now I'm lucky if I hear from her once a month." "Did you ask her about it?" "I tried. She said she was busy, that married life was an adjustment, that Derek liked having time, just the two of them." "What do you think?" "I think—" She hesitated. "I think she's trying to keep the peace." "With who?" "With Derek. He gets upset when she talks about her old life, when she mentions you, or her friends, or even us sometimes. He doesn't say it directly, but you can feel it, like he's jealous of anyone who knew her before him." "Did you tell her that?" "No." "Because she'd defend him?" "She always defends him." "Why?" "I don't know. Maybe because she's lonely. Maybe because she doesn't want to admit she made a mistake. Maybe because she loves him." Lily looked at me. "But I'll tell you something. When Derek called and said she didn't want to see you, I didn't believe him. Not completely. Why not? Because she talks about you, even when Derek's around. She always says how much she misses you, how she wishes you lived closer, how she can't wait for you to visit. And then she had me blocked. Yeah, which doesn't make sense. Unless Derek convinced her I was the problem. Lily's eyes widened. You think he's manipulating her? I think he's isolating her, and I think you and Tyler are helping him do it. She flinched. We're just trying to support her. By staying away from me, by letting Derek control who she talks to, that's not support, Lily. That's complicity. What are you saying? I'm saying you need to ask yourself if your mom's really happy, or if she's just pretending to be. Lily didn't answer. I left her there, sitting on her couch with her cat and her doubts. That night, Frank called again. I found something, he said. What? Derek Hartley isn't Derek Hartley. His real name is Daniel Hartman. He changed it legally 6 years ago. Before that, he was married. Wife filed for divorce citing emotional abuse and coercive control. No criminal charges, but the court records are sealed. Where's the ex-wife now? No idea. She disappeared after the divorce. No social media. No forwarding address. What else? He declared bankruptcy 8 years ago. Lost everything in a bad investment. But somehow, 5 years later, he's working in finance and living in a gated community. That kind of bounce back doesn't happen unless you're getting money from somewhere. From where? That's the million-dollar question. But here's the kicker. His ex-wife's maiden name was Emma. Say that again. His first wife's name was Emma, same as your daughter. That's not a coincidence. No, it's not. I thanked Frank and hung up. Derek hadn't just found Emma by chance. He'd chosen her, specifically. And he'd done it before. The plan was simple. Maybe too simple. Lily would visit Emma at Pinewood. She'd bring lunch, make it seem casual. And while Derek was at work, she'd try to talk to Emma, really talk to her, ask the questions that needed asking. What if he's there? Lily asked. Then you abort. But I checked his schedule. He has meetings all afternoon. He won't be there. How did you check his schedule? I have my ways. What I didn't tell her was that I'd called Meridian Capital pretending to be a client. The receptionist had confirmed Derek was booked solid from noon to 5. Lily drove to Pinewood on Wednesday. I waited at a coffee shop 2 miles away, phone in hand, stomach in knots. She texted me at 12:30. I'm in. Then nothing. I watched the clock. 12:45, 1 p.m., 1:15. At 1:30, my phone rang. She knows, Lily said. Her voice was tight. She knows something's wrong, but she's afraid to say it out loud. What did she tell you? She said Derek's been good to her, that he's protective, but when I asked if she was happy, she didn't answer. She just cried. Did she say anything about me? She said she misses you, that she wishes things were different. But then she said Derek's right, that you're better off apart. Did she say why? No, she just kept repeating it, like she'd practiced. My jaw clenched. Put her on the phone. Richard, I don't think... Put her on. There was rustling, then Emma's voice, quiet, fragile. Dad? Hey, sweetheart. You shouldn't be calling. I know, but I need you to listen to me. Really listen. I can't do this right now. Emma, I know Derek's been telling you things. I know he's convinced you I'm the problem, but it's not true. None of it is true. Dad, his name isn't Derek. It's Daniel, and he did this before, to another woman. He isolated her, controlled her, made her think she was the problem, and then she had to run for her life. Silence. Emma, are you there? I don't believe you. I can prove it. I can show you the records, the divorce files, the restraining order. Stop. Emma, I said stop. Her voice cracked. You're lying. You're making this up because you don't like him, because you never wanted me to be happy. That's what he told you to say, isn't it? No, that's how I feel. Then why are you crying? She hung up. I sat there in the coffee shop, staring at my phone. Lily called back 5 minutes later. She kicked me out, said I was just like you, that I was trying to ruin her life. Did Derek show up? No, but she called him, right in front of me. Told him what you said. My stomach dropped. What did he say? I don't know, but she looked terrified. Lily, get out of there now. I'm already in my car. Good. Stay away from Derek. Stay away from Pinewood and call me if anything happens. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. The discharge was scheduled for Tuesday at 10 a.m. I'd called Pinewood pretending to be Derek, confirming the time. The nurse had been happy to help. Our plan was simple. Lily and Tyler would show up at 9:30. They'd tell the staff they were taking Emma home. By the time Derek realized what was happening, we'd already have her. But plans never work the way you want them to. Tuesday morning, I woke up at 6. Couldn't eat, couldn't think, just paced the house, checking my phone every 2 minutes. At 8, Tyler called. "We've got a problem," he said. "What?" "Derek changed the discharge time. It's now at 8:30. He's already on his way." "How do you know?" "Lily called the center. They told her he picked Mom up 20 minutes ago." My stomach dropped. "Where are they now?" "I don't know. He's not answering his phone." "Try Emma." I did, straight to voicemail. I hung up and got in my car. I didn't have a plan. I just knew I needed to find them. I drove to Derek's house first. His car was in the driveway. I parked down the street and watched. 10 minutes later, Derek came out alone. Got in his car, drove away. I followed him. He led me to a different facility, smaller than Pinewood, more private. The sign out front said Willow Ridge Residential Care. I watched him go inside, watched him talk to someone at the desk, watched him disappear down a hallway. I waited 5 minutes, then I went in. The lobby was empty except for a receptionist. She barely looked up when I walked past. I found Derek in a room at the end of the hall. Through the small window in the door, I could see Emma. She was sitting on a bed. Derek was talking to her. She wasn't looking at him. I pushed the door open. "What the hell is this?" I said. Derek spun around. "Richard, you need to leave." "What is this place?" "It's a recovery facility. Emma needed more time. She was being discharged today." Plans changed. I looked at Emma. "Did you agree to this?" She didn't answer. "Emma, look at me." She did. Her eyes were red, empty. "What did he do to you?" I asked. "Nothing," Derek said. "She's tired. She needs rest. She needs to get out of here." "That's not your decision. It's not yours either." Derek stepped between me and Emma. "You need to leave, now, or I'm calling security." "Call them. I'll wait." "Richard, don't make this harder than it has to be." "Harder than what? Kidnapping your wife?" "She's not kidnapped. She's here voluntarily." "Is she?" I looked past him. "Emma, did you choose to come here?" She opened her mouth, closed it, then whispered, "Dad, please go." "Not without you." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I don't want to." "You're lying." Derek grabbed my arm. "That's enough." I shoved him off. "Don't touch me." "Then leave." "Not until I talk to her. Alone." "That's not happening." "Emma, tell him to leave." She didn't. Derek smiled. "See? She doesn't want to talk to you." "Because you've convinced her I'm the enemy." "No. Because you are the enemy. You're the one who keeps showing up, who keeps harassing us, who keeps trying to destroy our marriage. I'm trying to save her." "From what? A husband who loves her? A life she chose?" "A life you forced on her." Derek's face hardened. "Get out. Make me." He moved fast, grabbed my shirt, shoved me toward the door. I didn't think. I just reacted. I swung. My fist connected with his jaw. He stumbled back, caught himself on the bed. Emma screamed, then looked at me. "You just assaulted me," he said, "in front of a witness." "Good. Now we're even." "No, now I have grounds for a restraining order." He pulled out his phone, called 911. I looked at Emma. "Come with me, right now, before it's too late." She shook her head. "I can't." "Yes, you can." "Dad, you hit him." "Because he's holding you prisoner." "He's not. I'm here because I want to be." "You don't believe that." "I do." I heard sirens. Close. Getting closer. Derek smiled. "You should have left when I told you to." The cops arrived 2 minutes later. They cuffed me, read me my rights. Asked Derek if he wanted to press charges. He looked at Emma, then at me. "Yeah, I do." They took me to the station, booked me, put me in a holding cell. I sat there for 6 hours before Frank bailed me out. "You're an idiot," he said. "I know." "You assaulted him, in front of your daughter. What were you thinking?" "I wasn't." "No kidding. Frank drove me home, didn't say anything else, didn't have to. I'd blown it. Completely. I'd wanted to save Emma. Instead, I'd given Derek exactly what he wanted. Proof that I was unstable, dangerous, someone Emma needed to be protected from. That night, I got a call from a lawyer. Derek's lawyer. "Mr. Hartley, I'm calling to inform you that my client has filed for a restraining order. You're to have no contact with him or Emma, no calls, no visits, no third-party communication. If you violate this order, you'll be arrested. Do you understand? Yeah, I understand. Good. The hearing is next week. You're welcome to contest it, but given your recent behavior, I'd advise against it. He hung up. I sat there in the dark, trying to figure out what to do next. Everything I'd tried had failed. Emma didn't believe me, her kids were starting to doubt me, and now I was legally barred from even trying to help her. Derek had won, or so I thought. The next day, Lily called. I saw Mom, she said. How? I went to Willow Ridge, told them I was her daughter. They let me in. What did she say? Not much, but she looked worse than before. Thinner, paler, like she hasn't been sleeping. Did Derek know you were there? No, I waited until he left. Mom was alone. What did you talk about? I asked her if she was happy. She said yes, but then she started crying. I asked her why. She said she didn't know. Did you tell her about Derek's past? I tried, but she didn't want to hear it. She said you'd already told her, that it was all lies. What did you say? I told her I'd seen the records myself, that they were real, that Derek had lied to her. And? She asked me to leave. I closed my eyes. Lily, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to drag you into this. You didn't drag me. I chose to help, and I'm not giving up. Maybe you should. Maybe we all should. No, Mom needs us, even if she doesn't know it. After we hung up, I sat there for a long time. Lily was right. Emma needed us, but I didn't know how to reach her anymore. Every door was closed, every bridge was burned. I spent the next 3 days in a haze, didn't shave, didn't eat, just sat in my house, staring at the walls. On Thursday, Frank called. I found something, he said. What? A woman named Janet Morris. She worked at Meridian Capital 2 years ago, same time as Derek. She filed a complaint against him. Did anything come of it? No, she dropped it, but I tracked her down. She's willing to talk. Why would she do that? Because she hates him, and she wants people to know what he's like. Frank gave me her number. I called her that night. Janet picked up on the second ring. Hello? Janet Morris? Who's asking? My name is Richard Hartley. Frank gave me your number. He said you filed a complaint against Derek Hartley. Silence. I'm sorry to bother you, I said, but Derek's married to my daughter, and I think he's hurting her. Of course he is, Janet said. That's what he does. Can you tell me what happened? Why should I? Because I need to stop him, and I need proof. Janet sighed. Okay, but not over the phone. Meet me tomorrow, noon, Brewster's Cafe. She hung up before I could respond. The next day, I drove to Brewster's. It was a small place downtown. Quiet, half empty. Janet was already there. She was in her 40s, with short, dark hair and tired eyes. Richard? She asked when I sat down. Yeah, thanks for meeting me. I almost didn't, but Frank said you were desperate. I am. She stirred her coffee. Derek and I worked together for 6 months. At first he seemed normal, polite, professional, but then he started paying too much attention to me, complimenting me, asking personal questions. I thought he was just friendly. What changed? He started showing up where I was, at lunch, at the gym, at my apartment building. I told him to back off. He said I was overreacting, that he was just being nice. Did you report it? Eventually, but by then he'd already spread rumors about me, told people I was unstable, that I was obsessed with him, that I'd been sending him inappropriate messages. Had you? Of course not, but he had fake screenshots, texts that looked like they came from my number. I couldn't prove they were fake. So the company believed him. Yeah, and when I filed the complaint, they said there wasn't enough evidence, that it was my word against his, so I dropped it, and then I quit. Why are you telling me this? Because I want him to pay. I want people to know what he is. Can you testify, if it comes to that? Against Derek? In court? She shook her head. I don't think I can do that. Why not? Because he'll destroy me, like he destroyed your daughter, like he destroyed everyone who got in his way. But if we all come forward, there is no we. It's just you and me and a bunch of other people who are too scared to speak up. Janet stood. I'm sorry. I wish I could help more, but I can't. She left before I could stop her. I sat there, staring at my untouched coffee. She was right. It was just me, and I was running out of options. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. Stop digging, or you'll regret it. I stared at the message. Then I called the number. It went straight to voicemail. No greeting. I texted back, "Who is this?" No response. I called Frank. "Someone just threatened me." "What did they say?" I read him the text. "That's Derek," Frank said, "or someone working for him." "How do I prove it?" "You can't, not without tracing the number, and even then, he'll deny it." "So what do I do?" "You back off before this gets worse." "I can't." "Richard, listen to me. You're not helping Emma. You're making her situation worse. Every time you push, Derek tightens his grip. You need to step back. Let her come to you." "What if she never does?" "Then at least you tried." I hung up. Frank was wrong. I couldn't step back. Not now. Because Derek had just shown his hand. He was scared. And scared people made mistakes. I just needed to wait for him to make his. The restraining order hearing was on Monday. I showed up in the same suit I'd worn to the gala. Derek was already there with his lawyer. Emma was sitting behind him. She wouldn't look at me. The judge was a woman in her 50s. She looked tired, like she'd seen 1,000 cases just like this one. Derek's lawyer went first, painted me as an unstable ex-father-in-law who couldn't accept that his daughter had moved on, who'd assaulted Derek without provocation, who'd been stalking them for weeks. They had evidence. Photos of me outside Derek's house, security footage from Pinewood, testimony from the receptionist at Meridian Capital. It looked bad. When it was my turn, I didn't have a lawyer. Couldn't afford one. So I represented myself. I told the judge about Derek's past, about Emma Pritchard, about the fake name, about the pattern of control. Derek's lawyer objected, said I was making baseless accusations, that I had no proof. The judge asked to see my evidence. I showed her the divorce records, the complaint from Janet Morris, the testimony from Emma Pritchard. The judge looked them over. Then she looked at me. "Mr. Hartley, while I understand your concerns, the evidence you've provided doesn't establish a pattern of dangerous behavior, and it doesn't excuse the fact that you assaulted Mr. Hartman in front of his wife." "Your Honor, I was trying to protect my daughter." "By assaulting her husband? By getting her away from him? That's not your decision to make. Your daughter is an adult. If she wants to leave her husband, she can. If she doesn't, that's her choice." "It's not her choice. He's controlling her." "Do you have proof of that?" I looked at Emma. "Ask her." The judge turned to Emma. "Mrs. Hartman, do you feel controlled by your husband?" Emma looked at Derek, then at me, then at the judge. "No," she said. "I don't." "Do you feel unsafe around him?" "No." "Do you want a relationship with your father?" Emma's voice cracked. "Not right now." The judge nodded. "Mr. Hartley, I'm granting the restraining order. You're to have no contact with Mr. or Mrs. Hartman for a period of 1 year. If you violate this order, you'll be arrested. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Good. This hearing is adjourned." I walked out of the courtroom in a daze. Emma didn't follow me. Frank was waiting in the hallway. "I'm sorry." "Me too." "What are you going to do now?" "I don't know." "Richard, you tried. You did everything you could. Maybe it's time to let go." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because she's my daughter, and I'm not going to abandon her." Frank sighed. "Then what's your next move?" I didn't answer. Because I didn't have one. I drove home, sat in my driveway, stared at my house. Everything I'd tried had failed. Emma didn't believe me. The courts didn't believe me, and now I was legally barred from even trying to help. Derek had won. Completely. I went inside, poured myself a drink, didn't drink it. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Tyler. "We need to talk. Can I come over?" "Yeah." He showed up 20 minutes later, looked like hell, hadn't slept, hadn't shaved. "What happened?" I asked. "I went to see Mom at Willow Ridge. Derek wasn't there. She was alone. And she told me everything." My chest tightened. "What do you mean?" "She told me Derek's been controlling her, monitoring her phone, deciding who she can see, what she can say. She told me she's been trying to leave, but every time she tries, he convinces her she's wrong, that she's sick, that she needs him." "Did she say why she lied in court?" "Because Derek was there. She was afraid of what he'd do if she told the truth." "What would he do?" "She didn't say, but she was terrified." "Tyler, we need to get her out, now." "I know, but how? He's always with her, and even when he's not, she's too scared to leave." "Then we make him leave." "How?" I thought for a moment. "We expose him, publicly, in a way he can't deny." "With what?" "With everything we have, the divorce records, the testimony from his ex-wife, the complaint from Janet Morris. We put it all out there. Make sure everyone knows who he is. That won't be enough. He'll just deny it. Not if we have Emma on our side. She won't testify. She's too scared. Then we don't ask her to testify. We just show her the truth, all of it, and let her decide. Tyler looked at me. You think that'll work? I don't know, but it's all we've got. He nodded. Okay, what do you need me to do? I need you to get your mom alone, just for an hour. Can you do that? I'll try. Don't try. Do it. Because if we don't get her out soon, we might never get another chance. Tyler left. I spent the rest of the night putting together a file. Everything I had on Derek, every piece of evidence, every testimony, every lie. By morning, I had 30 pages. It wasn't enough to convict him, but it was enough to scare him. And sometimes that's all you need. Tuesday afternoon, Tyler called. I've got her. She's at my apartment, alone. Is Derek looking for her? Probably. But I told the staff at Willow Ridge she was with me for a family thing. They bought it. How long do we have? Maybe 2 hours. Then he'll start calling. That's enough. I'm on my way. I grabbed the file and drove to Tyler's apartment. Lily was already there. So was Emma. She looked small, fragile, like a strong wind could break her. Dad, she said when I walked in. Hey, sweetheart. I shouldn't be here. Yes, you should. Derek's going to be angry. Let him be angry. We need to talk. I don't want to hear it. Emma, please, just listen. She looked at Tyler, at Lily, then back at me. Okay, 5 minutes. I sat down, opened the file. I'm going to show you some things, I said, and I need you to look at them. Really look. Not as Derek's wife, but as you, the person you were before you met him. Dad, please just give me 5 minutes. If after that you still want to leave, I'll let you go. She nodded. I started with the divorce records, showed her the court filings, the restraining order, the testimony from Emma Pritchard. Derek's real name is Daniel Hartman, I said. He changed it 6 years ago, after his first wife divorced him. Emma stared at the papers. These could be fake? They're not. I pulled them from the county clerk myself. Derek showed me different records. He said this was all a lie. Then why did he change his name? She didn't answer. I showed her the complaint from Janet Morris. This woman worked with Derek 2 years ago. He harassed her, made her life hell. And when she reported it, he convinced everyone she was lying. People lie all the time. Not like this, not with this much detail. I showed her the testimony from Emma Pritchard. His first wife said he isolated her, controlled her, made her think she was the problem. Does any of that sound familiar? Emma's hands were shaking. Stop. Emma, I said stop. She stood up, started pacing. You don't understand. Derek loves me. He takes care of me. He's the only one who's ever really been there for me. That's what he wants you to think. No, that's how it is. Then why are you shaking? Why are you scared? I'm not scared. Yes, you are. You're terrified, because you know I'm right. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Even if you are, what am I supposed to do? Leave him? Go where? I have nothing without him. You have us, Lily said. You have Dad. You have me and Tyler. We'll help you. It's not that simple. Yes, it is, I said. You pack a bag, you leave, and you don't look back. And then what? He'll come after me. So we get a real restraining order, one that protects you. He'll find a way around it. He always does. Not if we're there to stop him. Emma sank into a chair, covered her face with her hands. I don't know if I can do this, she whispered. You can, I said. I know you can. She looked up. Her face was wet, broken. What if I'm wrong? What if he really does love me? What if I leave and realize I made a mistake? Then you come back, but at least you'll know. At least you'll have made the choice yourself. She was quiet for a long time. Then her phone rang. She looked at the screen. It's Derek. Don't answer, Tyler said. I have to. If I don't, he'll know something's wrong. Let him. Emma stared at the phone. Then she declined the call. 5 seconds later, it rang again. She declined it again. Then a text came through. I saw it on her screen before she could hide it. Where are you? Why aren't you at Willow Ridge? Emma's face went pale. He knows, she said. So what? I said. Let him know. Another text. Answer your phone, now. Then another. If you don't answer, I'm calling the police. Emma stood. I have to go. No, Lily said. You don't. Yes, I do. If I don't, he'll make this worse. He'll say I was kidnapped. He'll press charges against you. Let him, I said. We'll deal with it. Dad, you don't understand. He'll destroy you. All of you. We're already destroyed. He made sure of that. Emma looked at me, and for the first time, I saw something break in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. For what? For not believing you. For choosing him. For letting him do this. Emma, it's not your fault. Yes, it is. I should have seen it. I should have known. You couldn't have. That's how guys like him work. Her phone rang again. This time she threw it across the room. I'm done, she said. I'm done pretending. I'm done lying. I'm done being his puppet. Then leave him, I said. I will, but not today. I need to plan. I need to be smart about it. Emma, Dad, please trust me. I know what I'm doing. She picked up her phone, looked at the screen. 10 missed calls, 20 texts. She took a breath. Then she called Derek back. Hey, she said. Her voice was calm, steady. Sorry, my phone was on silent. I'm at Tyler's. We're having lunch. I could hear Derek's voice on the other end, loud, angry. I know, Emma said. I should have told you, but I wanted to see my kids. I'm coming back now. I'll be there in an hour. More yelling. I love you too, Emma said. She hung up, looked at us. I have to go, she said. Emma, don't. I have to. If I don't, he'll come here, and I don't want him to know you were involved. We don't care if he knows. I care, because I'm going to get out, but I need to do it my way, on my terms. She hugged Lily, hugged Tyler. Then she hugged me. I'm going to fix this, she whispered. I promise. Then she left. I stood there, watching her go, wondering if I'd just made the biggest mistake of my life. 3 days passed. No word from Emma. I called, no answer. I texted, no response. I even drove by Derek's house. His car was there. Emma's wasn't. I was starting to panic. On the 4th day, Tyler called. She's okay. How do you know? She texted me, said she's fine, that she's working on a plan. What plan? She didn't say, just told me to trust her. Tyler, we can't just wait. What if Derek what? Hurts her. She's been with him for months. If he was going to hurt her, he would have by now. That's not how abuse works. I know, but she asked us to trust her, so that's what I'm doing. I hung up, spent the rest of the day pacing. Trust her, like it was that easy. On the 5th day, I got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Mr. Hartley? A woman's voice. Professional. This is Dr. Lauren Reeves from Willow Ridge. I'm calling about Emma Hartman. My stomach dropped. Is she okay? She's fine, but she's asked to speak with you. When? Now, if you're available. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I broke every speed limit getting there. Dr. Reeves met me in the lobby. She was in her 40s with gray hair and kind eyes. Before you see her, I need to explain something, she said. Emma checked herself in voluntarily 2 days ago. She told us she was experiencing emotional distress and needed time away from her husband. Where is he? He doesn't know she's here. She asked us not to tell him. Can he find out? Not unless she gives permission. Patient privacy laws protect her. So she's safe? For now. But Mr. Hartley, Emma is struggling. She's been through a lot, and she's trying to figure out what she wants. You need to be patient with her. I will. And Dr. Reeves led me to a small room. Emma was sitting in a chair by the window. She looked better than the last time I'd seen her, calmer, more present. Hey, Dad, she said. Hey. Thanks for coming. Of course. She gestured to the chair across from her. I sat. I'm sorry I didn't call sooner, she said. I needed time to think. I understand. No, you don't, but that's okay. She took a breath. I've been lying to you, to everyone, for months, and I'm tired of it. Emma, let me finish. Please. I nodded. When I married Derek, I thought I was happy. I thought he was everything I needed, but then things started to change. Little things at first. He'd get upset if I talked to you too much, or if I made plans without telling him. He said it was because he loved me, that he worried about me. That's how it starts. I know that now, but at the time I believed him. I thought I was the problem, that I was too independent, too selfish. So I tried to change. I tried to be the wife he wanted. You shouldn't have had to change. I know, but I didn't see it that way. I thought I was being a good partner, and then I had the surgery, and everything got worse. How? He convinced the doctors I was too fragile to make decisions, that I needed him to advocate for me. And they listened. They put him in charge of everything, my meds, my visitors, my discharge plan. I tried to argue, but they said I was being difficult, that I was in denial about how sick I was. Emma, that's not legal. You have the right to make your own medical decisions. I know, but they didn't care. Or maybe they didn't know. Either way, Derek took control. And by the time I realized what was happening, it was too late. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was ashamed and scared. And I thought maybe he was right. Maybe I was too fragile. Maybe I did need him. You don't need him. You never did. I know that now, but it took me a long time to see it. She looked out the window. When you showed me those records, I didn't want to believe them, because if they were true, it meant I'd been wrong. About everything. And I couldn't handle that. So you went back to him. I did, but only so I could figure out how to leave. I needed time to plan, to gather evidence, to make sure he couldn't come after me. What kind of evidence? She pulled out her phone. I've been recording him, every conversation, every time he threatened me, every time he tried to control me. I have hours of audio. Emma, I know it's not legal, but I don't care. I need people to believe me, and this is the only way. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to file for divorce, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows who he is. He'll fight you. Let him. I have proof now. He can't talk his way out of this. I felt something in my chest loosen. I'm proud of you. Don't be. Not yet. I still have to go through with it. When? Next week. I'm meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. She specializes in cases like mine. Do you need help? No. I need to do this myself. But I need you to know that I'm sorry. For not believing you. For pushing you away. For letting him turn me against you. Emma, you don't have to apologize. Yes, I do. Because you tried to save me, and I made it impossible. You were trapped. That's not your fault. Maybe, but I still hurt you, and I need to make it right. She reached across the table, took my hand. Thank you, she said, for not giving up on me. I never would. We sat there for a long time, just holding hands, not saying anything. It wasn't over yet. But for the first time in months, I felt like we were going to make it. Dr. Reeves knocked on the door. I'm sorry, but visiting hours are over. Emma stood. I'll call you tomorrow, okay? Okay. She hugged me, held on longer than usual. I love you, Dad. I love you too. I left Willow Ridge feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Emma was going to leave Derek. She had a plan. She had evidence. She had support. It was going to be okay. But I should have known better. Things are never that easy. The next morning, I got a call from Tyler. Derek knows, he said. Knows what? That Emma's at Willow Ridge. He showed up there an hour ago, demanded to see her. They wouldn't let him in, but he's threatening to call his lawyers. Can he get her out? I don't know. Maybe, if he can prove she's not safe. She's perfectly safe. We know that. But he'll say she's being manipulated, that we're turning her against him. That's bullshit. Of course it is. But it might work. I hung up and called Dr. Reeves. Mr. Hartley, she said when she picked up, I was just about to call you. What happened? Mr. Hartman showed up this morning. He was very agitated. He said Emma was being held against her will, that she'd been brainwashed by her family. That's not true. I know, but he's threatening legal action. He says if we don't release her, he'll sue the facility. Can he do that? Technically, yes, but it's unlikely he'd win. Emma checked herself involuntarily. She has the right to stay as long as she wants. What if he convinces a judge she's not competent? Then we'd have to evaluate her, but I don't think that would happen. Emma is clearly of sound mind. Is she safe? For now, but Mr. Hartley, I need you to know that Emma is very scared. She's worried he'll find a way to get to her. He won't. I'll make sure of it. I hope you're right. I spent the rest of the day trying to figure out what to do. I called Frank. He said Derek couldn't force Emma to leave unless he had a court order, and to get a court order, he'd need proof she was incompetent. Which he doesn't have, Frank said, but he'll try to get it. Probably, so you need to make sure Emma has a good lawyer, someone who can fight back. She's meeting with one tomorrow. Good. Make sure she follows through. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Derek, about how desperate he must be, about what he might do next. At 2 a.m., my phone rang. It was Emma. Dad, he's here. What? Derek. He's outside the facility. He's been calling me for the past hour, leaving messages saying he just wants to talk. Don't answer. I haven't, but he's not leaving. I can see him from my window. He's just standing there. I'm calling the cops. No, don't. That'll make it worse. Emma, he's stalking you. I know, but if we involve the police, he'll say I'm overreacting, that he's just a concerned husband. So what do you want me to do? I don't know. I just wanted to hear your voice. We stayed on the phone for an hour. I talked to her about nothing and everything, tried to keep her calm. Eventually, Derek left, but the damage was done. Emma was terrified, and so was I. The next day, Emma met with her lawyer. Her name was Rachel Diaz. She specialized in domestic abuse cases. Rachel called me after the meeting. Your daughter has a strong case, she said. The recordings are damning, and with the testimony from Derek's ex-wife, we can establish a pattern. So she can get a divorce? Yes, but it's going to be messy. Derek will fight. He'll try to discredit her. He'll drag this out as long as he can. How long are we talking? Months, but maybe a year. Emma doesn't have a year. I know. That's why I'm filing for an emergency restraining order. If we can get it approved, Derek won't be able to contact her at all. When will you file? Tomorrow. The hearing is next week. And if the judge denies it, then we'll keep fighting. But Mr. Hartley, you need to prepare yourself. Derek is not going to let Emma go without a fight. I know. And he's going to come after you too. He already tried once. He'll try again. Let him. That's not smart. You need to protect yourself. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about Emma. Then help her by staying safe, because if something happens to you, she'll lose her biggest advocate. Rachel was right, but I didn't care. I'd spent months trying to protect Emma. I wasn't going to stop now.